Start the recording. Thank you. So welcome to Monday night training for Through the Eyes of Authors. So we got some great stuff planned for you tonight. One of our members, Julie Connor, Julie is the author of Savoring the Camino de Santiago. Yay! And I don't remember the subtitle though. What is the subtitle, Julie?
It's the pilgrimage, not the hike.
Yes, that's right. I saw it this morning. The pilgrimage, not the hike. So Julie did walked, and you walked with your son, right?
Right.
The entire, and how long is it? About 500 miles?
Correct.
So Julie and her son did this, and honestly, I wish I'd heard of it. I mean, I may have heard of it, but in passing, but I wish I'd considered it long ago. But if I get the chance to retire and do that, it will definitely be riding the bus, I'm sure, most of the way. Anyway, so that is Julie's book. It is a travel kind of book. It's a great book, a beautiful, beautiful cover. I love the cover of her book. And so Julie, when you start, if you can share that, please. Julie's going to do our training tonight on contest. So if you're not familiar with contests, if you don't know the importance of contests, if you don't know all that can happen as a result of contests, you're going to hear that tonight from Julie, and I'm going to give her the mic in a few minutes, but I want to see if there's anything we need to announce first. So Friday night, 6 p.m., we will have the happy hour for Rox Berkey and Charles Breakfield's The Enigma Ignite. And this was originally their third book, I think, third or fourth in the series, the Enigma series, which now will be number 12, will come out in January. Number 12 is the Enigma Threat. So every one of them is the Enigma something. And if you're not familiar with the Enigma, I don't know enough about it to define it. James, do you know enough about it to say what the Enigma is?
It's a techno thriller. Enigma was original.
The actual Enigma. Yeah. What is an Enigma?
All right, the Enigma was originally the encoding machine that the Germans was using to send codes back and forth through their troops. And I think it was the British actually who broke the code.
Polish,
and
the Poles were the first.
The who? The Poles?
Poles, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So they broke the code, which allowed them to know exactly where all the submarines were going. Because see, they were sending the information to submarines, and the submarines were sinking all these ships coming across from America to supply the Allies. And once they broke the code, no one told the Germans that, and therefore they was able to defeat the German Navy, and that's how they was able to land on D-Day and things like that, because the Germans had no idea that we knew what their plans were.
There's also troop movements and air targets and things like that. It was more than just the submarines, but
the big deal was that they was able to find them submarines. That was one of the big things that breaking that code allowed them to do, because the submarine war was just devastating the Allies because we couldn't get any supplies through.
They had one city that had they been more protective of, they might have given the Germans an indication they had broken the code, so they had to let the Germans just bomb the crap out of it. Canterbury or someplace, I can't remember right now. So they had to be judicious with what they knew in advance without being able to tell them that they knew. But it was devastating against the submarines, but that was a long term. I mean, it was very difficult for the subs to communicate back, so they really didn't know, other than the fact they were just losing a lot of damn submarines.
I'll get Rox and Charles to tell you the story of how they started writing together on Friday. But 6 o'clock, happy hour. So the Enigma happy hour, as they relaunch the Enigma Ignite. And then they'll tell you about the series. One of the things, I've been working with them since the cruise in January. most books have a, you know, a heroine or a hero or somebody, main character. I know with Haley, it's Keegan. And in all of them with Athena and her book that was just launched, it was Jesse. So most books have a hero. And so I had read a couple of their books, and I like they had the R group, but no body and specifically. And so I've suggested to them that let's focus in our coming marketing a hero, a heroine, or something, because the group has got men and women in it. So anyway, so they're launching theirs on Friday, September
I'll be
5th.
there.
Oh, and CJ will be one of the guest authors, as well as another friend of Rox's and a person that I've known for several years, Jan Sykes. They will both be the guest authors, as well as they're bringing their narrator for their, because they have a audiobook for all of them, and they're bringing their narrator to be a guest on Friday night as well. So join us. I'll be posting the link all week long, and you'll see where it's going to be. September 5th, Julie, who's also leading tonight, will be having the launch of her audiobook. Towards the end of September, right now we have it for what, the 18th, Amy? For Teresa.
I believe Teresa's is the 18th, but we have CJ will be on Author Talk on the 14th to relaunch her book, and I think we're doing that the Saturday before that, or that.
Yep, the Saturday the 12th.
Yeah. So see, it's Julie's is on the 5th of September for her audiobook, and then it's CJ's for the relaunch of the book that she's now claiming because she rewrote it. And then we have Teresa on the 18th or the 22nd. I think it's the 22nd. We'll have Dr. Teresa Cody's book on PRP. And so that is going to be our September thing. But we also have Jeremy Jack, who's doing his Kickstarter campaign, which starts September 8th for his. And then his actual player guide launch will be sometime in October. We just set down that date. So all these dates will be in the emails that I've been sending. These all got updated after the email got sent out.
And we have a new client, David Fallour. And so David, we met David when he was on Author Talk a couple of years ago, because he had a book then called Sheer Will, and it's the story of the Houston Ship Channel. And a lot of people love that book. And he wrote the book at the request of the people that at the Ship Channel. And so he had such a good time. We had him on Author Talk that he contacted me a couple months ago, and he said, I've written another book and I'd like you guys to help me with the launch. So I talked to him today. We start Thursday, and his launch will be in October. So 2 months. He wanted to go 2 months for the launch. So we have got a heavy, heavy agenda coming up. And one thing you're going to be hearing a lot about is the fact that we're going to be doing a summit. So I've already taken the training. I've got all this material to read. It's all there. And I just saw that we don't, oh, there's Julie. Somebody left, and I'm like, okay, did Julie leave? Please, not Julie. So anyway, we got lots going on. We'll be announcing it more in the future, but in the coming weeks, look at your emails that you get from Amy. She's putting a list of all the upcoming launches and things we have going on. So check it out, get the information. If any of the books that we're launching seem to be something that similar to you and your genre, then let me know, because we'd love to have you as a guest on them. Remember, you are the book launch team, and we put together some guidelines to let you know what that means and everything. So we're excited about it. So did I miss anything, Amy?
No, but I did want to give a shout out to everyone in the group. So today has been a fantastic day. Julie was on Author Talk, and she was saying she got the motivation from Greg and Tess to just, jump right in and do the audiobook from this group, which is fantastic. That's the purpose of this group. And then me and Sandy were meeting with Jeremy, and he said he has found so many resources and everything through this group and made so many connections and friendships and ideas. And that's the purpose of this group. So this group is working. It's great for me and Sandy to hear that. And so you guys are just amazing. we're trying and hoping to grow this group, but it was just, that was, for me, it was just like, oh, this is so great to hear it, especially on a Monday. So I just wanted to give you guys a kudos because I think it's fantastic.
Thank
guys
you for saying that, Amy, because that's very true. When we hear people say that, that does make everything we do worthwhile. So thank you for saying that. And so, Julie, I'm going to turn it over to you. And I wonder, if I put it on speaker view, Amy, will that give Julie the full screen then instead of being on without everybody else, or what?
Just pin her.
I'm sorry?
If she shares her
Sure.
screen, it'll do it.
Okay. Okay, Julie, you're up. And so Julie, just real quick, Julie is the author of the book. And I was going to say earlier, she's also the owner and founder of the Bayou City Press. Is that it, Julie, now, Bayou City Press?
Correct.
Okay. And that is a her publishing company, which published her books, but they are going to be publishing other books in the near future. So we're working with her on that. So Julie, take it away.
Okay, so y'all probably remember back to the earlier days when I was first with this group, I was kind of on a contest hobby horse. And I kept asking, I need to know more about contest. I need to know more about contest. And I really couldn't find anyone willing to give me the advice I thought I needed. So I just plunged ahead, and you'll hear about that, and did what I thought I needed to do. Can y'all all see this screen and my slide? You see that? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yeah.
I see it.
Okay. So anyway, Sandy was pushing us all to do something, say we're expert in something. So I said, okay, I'll do contests. And then I had to actually put together something. And at first I was worried I didn't have enough material to cover for this session. And then I decided I had too much material. So I can see this is a dynamic project that's going to go on for a while, me putting together more information. So I call this most of what you ever wanted to know. Maybe it's more than you wanted to know, but I tell you, there's more to know than what's here. So let me see how I advance my screen now. You showed me how to do this before.
Well, so do you have it in the slideshow mode?
Yeah, what I see.
Right there. Yeah, there's.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, got it.
All right, so Mike Kowis, well, last Monday mentioned this, and Sandy mentioned it too. Of all the award summary information I found, the best one still, in my opinion, is this ALLI organization, Alliance of Independent Authors. But the summary isn't actually on their website. It's on something else, a different website. But they are a quite good resource. If you go to them, they have a lot of information there. They have set up this thing called their Self-Publishing Advice Center. And as part of that, as I said, if you go to this Self-Publishing Advice Center, there's all kinds of different suggestions on different kinds of activities. But one thing they have is a watchdog desk that you can report to for anybody that you think has unscrupulous practices or unscrupulous publisher or trying to gouge you out of money. And they publish lists of different people or organizations you need to watch out for. And as part of that, they do this listing of contests. So their listing carries 118 different awards, and they give each award one of 3 ratings. It can be recommended, it can be a mixed rating, or it can be a caution. And then there's some that aren't rated. But as you can see here, the recommended basically are the ones who are organized for the benefit of the author rather than the organizer. And the mixed ones are mostly positive, but might have some issues. And then the caution ones are really more focused towards making money for whoever the organizer is. So that's how you see them when you go on the screen to look at these awards. They use 5 criteria to rate the contests. If they're going to be recommended, it has to exist to recognize talent, not to enrich the authors, the organizers. It has to avoid excessive entry fees, marketing services, selling merchandise like stickers. Receiving the award is a significant achievement. It's not handed out like Halloween candy. And the judging process is transparent and clear. Prizes are appropriate and commensurate with the entry fee. Some contests evidently say just the fact that you win the award is exposure, and so that's a prize. They don't consider that a prize. Representation, that is taking you on as an author for them, for their organization, or publication is considered a prize, but only if there are no hidden fees. And entrants are not required to forfeit the rights to their works. These are the criteria they use to decide if they're going to recommend a contest. Their rating chart gives the basic information, the name of the event, the rating by those colors, who the organization behind the contest is, what the website is, and interestingly, they give you a link for their recommended and mixed contests, but they don't give you a link for their caution. So you have to go look that up yourself. They tell you what the entry fee is, the number of categories, how the contest is judged, what the marketing is, and then other notes. So that's all good information, and it's very concise and very easy to use. So some of the pros of this particular list is it's free, and it's the most comprehensive list around that I've found. On the other hand, it's not kept up to date, so you still have to check everything out. Navigating around the chart is not easy, so you can't really compare one contest with another. I ended up printing out the whole list and then reformatting it so that I could use it, because in the format it is on screen, I really found I couldn't get the information and compare things the way I needed to. And you still have to go in and research each contest because of different factors, like what qualifications do you have to meet, what are the due dates, and so forth. But still, as I said, it's the best thing I found. So if you look at this, the first time I saw this, I thought, okay, this is the list, but it's not. It's only half of the list. So you have to scroll over to the right to get all those other categories I mentioned, like what's the fee, what's the judging, and so forth. So you can't see everything in one go. You have to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it can be a little difficult, which is why I printed the whole thing out and made my own chart. Okay, so this is the second award summary I found. It's actually from Authors Marketing Guild. That's Alan Bourgeois' group. He published on his website a contest list that was created by Danielle Van, and it was presented at the Authors Marketing event. That's the same thing he just had in July. Well, he has that every year in July, I guess, and he did this in 2018. She was one of his speakers, and this was what her topic was contests. And then someone updated the list in 2019. So it includes some of the awards, some additional awards that are not on the ALLY list, like it has regional contests for Texas and Florida, a few. It includes the really big contests like the Nobel Prize, the Penn Faulkner Ride, and the Pulitzer Prize. Well, frankly, I don't think I'm in competition for any of those, but it's nice, I guess, again, to have a more complete list. So her list does include some of the ones that aren't there. There are other award summaries too, and here's some that I found just by Googling around. This one I thought might be of particular interest to a lot of you, is 39 free writing contests. The interesting thing about this, and again, one thing about contests is just about whatever your genre is, you're going to be able to find a contest that specializes in that field. There's contests for Christian writers, there's contests for sci-fi, there's contests for, of course, fiction and nonfiction. There's just contests for every children's literature, lots of contests. So when you look at this list, for example, there'll be one or two on children's writing that are totally free that you can enter. That's a really one I want to spend some more time exploring to see if there's any free contest I would like to enter. Another one that I found was the 2020 Ultimate Writing Contest, the Ultimate Guide, and this is put out by an organization called Get Free Write. It was interesting to look at. I saw some, again, it's a nice thing to have these things all together. And then the book designer, and this is Joel Friedlander, I mentioned him before, his website has also got lots of great free information. And he put together a list. It's not really a list. I mean, it's not really as informative as the ALLY list is, because he just tells you, here's the contest. And then you have to go do all the research to find out about it. And then the last one I found that I thought was something worth looking at is 40 Book Awards Authors Should Pursue. And it's by this organization, West Wind. And so it's another one just to check out to see if there's anything that catches your eye. Now, on Amazon, they're still selling 2 books. One is Writing to Win, The Colossal Guide to Writing Contest. But it's from 2012. And frankly, from what I saw, that might as well be 1900, because these things seem to change everything so quickly. But it was put together by a Writer's Digest editor. So I'm sure in 2012 it was a great resource. But now, I think really you don't need it. You can just go to all these other things that are online and theoretically more up to date. And then the other one was this Writer's Digest Complete Guide to Writing Contest, which was published in 2010. Same thing, I just think it's too out of date to really bother with. But if anybody really wants to see, I mean, this colossal guide is supposed to have, I don't know, hundreds of contests listed there. They might not all still be going, who knows? Okay, so after identifying some awards, I thought, okay, now how do I pick what award I want to enter? So first the first person I heard really talk about awards was Mike Coas. This is right when I got active in the writing scene in Houston, and he gave a talk one night at the Houston Nonfiction Authors Association, RED, there's another connection. And he talked about awards, and he said his strategy was win one award, any award, and then you can call your book award-winning, and you don't have to do any more contests. And this is clearly his line because he repeated it last Monday night for those of you who were on Monday night. And it made sense to me. All you want to, I mean, really all you're ever going to do with most awards is say, I won an award. So if you win one award, you can say that if you want to. You know, you can put it on your publicity, in your marketing. You can announce it on Amazon. And whatever money you spent or didn't spend for that one time, you've got your award. But having said that, Mike told us on Monday, and I'd heard it before, and it's true for me too, having won one award, he still enters contests. He kept on. Why? I think we're all motivated because we think we have a good book and we want recognition. So we keep entering contests. And this year in particular, since we're all stuck at home and all of these award ceremonies, like I should have been at an award ceremony, are canceled. We can't do them. So that takes a little bit of the fun out of applying for a contest when you can't actually be there to get your award. So anyway, I thought about Mike's strategy. It makes sense to me, but in the end, I haven't followed it. Another thing to think about is really you need to get an award as soon as you can. Now, some people say you need to get your award before your book is even published, but I don't see how you really do that. But I do think you need to try to get it as soon, put your book in for awards as soon as you can. Because then you can use it on your promotional materials very early on. And the third thing that occurred to me is that you should get an award that is relevant to your audience. So if you're a mystery writer, you want to get an award that's targeted for mystery writers and romance writers, and a Texas Award for Texas writers. Just it shows that you're very good in that genre or that niche. So those are some strategies I had in my head as I started to go. So then I'm thinking out, okay, what am I do? One thing is timing. When you publish your book makes a difference. A lot of these awards contests are held on an annual basis, but not all of them. So by the time I really figured out awards, it was already like June, and the deadline to apply for some of them had already closed. So that means I had to wait a whole year and a half after my book was published if I was going to try to enter some contests. Interestingly on that, let me just say that some contests are just one calendar year that might run from July to July or January to December, but some contests, they're open 3 or 4 years. You know, they have a big broad time in which you can submit your book. So you have to check that out. Cost. Some of the bigger awards cost more, though that's another factor. Prominence. When I started, I really had no clue about this. I have a better idea now about these different awards and which ones are more respected than others. And niche. What niche do you fit in? Some of the most prestigious awards are these reader's choice type awards where readers vote for your book. But if you have a romance or a fiction book, I think you have a chance in those categories. But if you're a niche book, probably not so much. So when you think about timing and cost and the prominence of the awards and the niche, and you put it all together, then you decide what to try to do. So I didn't follow any of the advice that I'm telling you about, basically, because I did this before I'd gone through this whole process. So I put in very early for 2 awards. One is the eLit Award, and one is called the IPPY, IPPY Award. They're both run by an outfit called the Jenkins Group. And they both have, I'll talk about it. They have a lot of categories. Anyway, my ebook won a silver medal in the eLit category. So I was very happy about that. Now, as again, a lot of what they do for awards didn't happen this year because of the COVID situation. But I did get my big medal, and I got my stickers, which I have to pay for, but I got them. And I got this thing on my book on Amazon, this, the seal that I won this award. All right, so here's some suggestions. If you're gonna go with the just get an award, any award objective, don't pay so much attention to those alley categories of recommended, mixed, and caution, because you want to do exactly the opposite of what they say. You want to look at awards with a high number of categories, because the higher number of categories, the more chance you have to win. And you probably want to look at the for-profit awards, because they want to get more people entering their contest, and they want to give out more awards so they can get more people in. So you add all that, you have more chance of getting an award for one of those kinds of contests than you do for some of the more prestigious, really serious awards. Now, if you are going for prestige, then here's how some of the ones that I thought looked really of the better awards. One is the Ben Franklin Awards. It's won by the Independent Book Publishers Association. It has a $95 entry fee, which isn't that much, but the kicker is you have to be a member of IBPA to enter the contest, and that is expensive, $134. So you add those together and you're over $200 to enter this contest. However, there is a little Benny they don't advertise that much, but it is there. If you are on Ingram Spark, if your book is on Ingram Spark will give you a free code for a trial period. So then you take your 3-month trial period, you enter the book contest, and you avoid paying that $134 to be a member, which is what I did. Now, in my case, since I am a publisher, I'm probably going to go ahead and extend my membership, but I really don't have to. Another one, which is a really good one, is Book Life Prize by Publishers Weekly. And you don't even have to have your work published yet to put your book in or your manuscript in for this one. It has a $99 entry fee. It's only divided into fiction and nonfiction, but there are, and they run the 2 contests on a different schedule. So fiction comes earlier in the year and nonfiction later in the year. Within under fiction and nonfiction, they only have a very limited number of categories. One good thing about this is that everybody who enters gets a critics report. So they give you the score that your book got from the critic and a written evaluation. And all of their evaluators are Publishers Weekly reviewers. And then you can use or not use those comments on your marketing. So the entry period for fiction is coming right up, August 31st, if anyone is interested in entering that one. And then there's the third one is Self-Publishing Review, SPR Awards. As you see, it has a small entry fee, a wide range of when you qualify. Any book published between September 1st, 2019 and April 1st, 2021 can enter. If you want, you can pay an extra fee of $30, and then you purchase readers' comments from an SPR judge. And the comments are supposed to be 300 to 500 words. And again, you can use or not use these. So both Book Life and SPR awards, even if you don't win the contest, you get something. You get the comments from your reader. Now, here's some free ones that I thought were interesting. One I've mentioned before is the ebook book cover design awards by Joel Friedlander. You just send in your cover, and he runs this on a monthly basis. So like I turned in my cover in July, and I'll find out the results at the end of this month. And they show all the covers that came in. Some of them, one wins the prize, the other, some will get a, like a, you know, I don't know, good, get some kind of special recognition. And then the others, they're all commented on. They all get some comments. The Kindle Book Awards are free, and there's a wide publication date range accepted. I missed that deadline, so I couldn't put my book in for that. So, but if you're interested, it's a good one. The Indie Author Project is only fiction, either adult fiction or young adult, and it's co-sponsored by Ingram Spark Library Journal and Biblio Board. So those are three great sponsors. If you would win that, they would really give you some great publicity. Then there's the Texas Author Project. This is another one of the group of activities run by Alan Bourgeois. And I'm sorry, this is not Alan's. This is the one run by the Library Journal and Biblio Board, and it's part of a nationwide contest, but for certain states, they have individual state contests, and Texas is one of them. So it's fiction only, and it's got to be adult or young adult. It has to be written by Texas residents. There is a prize, and the winners receive a full-page ad in Library Journal. Here's one I stumbled across. It looked really interesting to me. It's the Philosophical Society of Texas. You have to submit by July, so we've missed it for this year, but you could enter next year. And it's a $2,500 prize, and they have fiction and nonfiction, but the nonfiction has to be about Texas plus poetry. There are a lot of other free awards in romance and fantasy and crime and erotic fiction, erotic historical novels, horror, all of them. I found all of these in different free awards. You have to do a lot of research to find what you're looking for. And then besides all the ones I've mentioned, there's a lot of regional and state and other awards that are not on that first big summary list. For example, this is the one I was talking about, the Authors Marketing Guild Alan Bourgeois Annual Texas Book Contest. It has an $80 fee. It's for books published in 2020. It has two categories, Texas books and international categories. If you're from Texas, your book is automatically entered in both categories. Interestingly, on this one, the categories are fluid. I asked Alan, well, how do you know? He says, well, if there's only one book, you get to name your own category. So let's say I put my book in as travel book, and there's no other travel book in that category. Then he'll probably move it up to be with nonfiction books. So you don't quite know what category you're competing in. Submissions are being accepted right now, and the winners will be announced in July 2021. I'm sure we've all heard of the Texas Bluebonnet Awards. These are for children's books. They're very prestigious. The Writers League of Texas Book Awards contest, which is based in Austin, they have an entry fee, but they have categories, fiction, nonfiction, poetry, picture books, and so forth. You must be a Texas resident, and they run on a calendar year basis. This one, again, looks like one where they do a lot of publicity for you in marketing. The Texas Institute of Letters Literary Awards, they have a lot of categories, and the details for the 2020 contest are going to be posted in September. There's the Christie Awards, specifically for Christian fiction. This is one, where's James? I thought you should look at this one. It's the Ernest J. Gaines Award. It's for African-American fiction writers, and it has a huge award, $15,000. It's run out of Louisiana, and I think it's well worth trying to enter in. And then there's American Book Fest Awards, 90 categories, 400 winners and finalists. That's pretty good. So those are just some regional state awards. Now, we were talking before this program began, and CJ was mentioning the North Texas Book Festival. So CJ, do you want to unmute yourself and just talk about that one for a minute?
The North Texas Book Festival is up near Denton, and it usually happens once a year. And that's actually where I got 4 of my awards from. Honestly, just look up ntbf.org. They're done for this year, but they'll post when they're ready for the next year.
Is there a fee?
And CJ, you should brag a little because you are one of the winners for this year.
Yep, me, Kelly Colby, and David Bowles. So we'll find
Yay.
out Friday where we placed, but I definitely got one, and so did they. So yeah.
So how will they send out the email, you'll get it, or should I be checking the website or what?
Well, they normally do it on Facebook,
Ah, okay.
so you'll see it because I will plaster it like I did when we
I
won.
know. Okay, good. Okay, thanks, CJ. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So one of these things always also listen that Florida has some big book awards, and I guess they don't limit it to Florida authors because I've seen it on various lists around. Anyway, so that's my roundup of contests. And I myself have a lot more research I want to do, particularly on free contests. But I have a better understanding of the universe now of contests. So that's it. Hope you found something to pick.
Well, let's open it up for questions. So who has a question for Julie, or a question about, or comment about, or anything about contest?
Julie, you'd be willing to do the same presentation for the Nonfiction Authors Association?
If the president invites me.
You are invited. We just need to agree upon a date.
Okay.
That was great, Julie. You're right. Lots and lots of information. So, Kathy Helwisen, did you have a question? You're muted. Oh, no, now you're muted. But I couldn't hear you though.
Type in the chat line.
I'm sorry. Who said something?
That was Julie.
I think
She can type
Kathy's
a
trying to
question
talk, but
that
it's
way.
not working. So Julie told her to type it into the chat. So she
Oh, okay. So yeah, Kathy, can you type your question in the chat? Thank you. And then something's wrong with your sound, so I'm not sure what that is. Anybody else have a question while Kathy's typing hers in? Any questions in the chat, actually? Yeah,
Julie, you said don't regard the ALLI one, but you want to regard all the ALLI ones that are the ones that you don't want to associate with. Is that correct?
No, I'm sorry. I don't want to give you all the wrong impression. What I said was, if you're going to go for Mike Coas's recommendation just to get an award, any award, you want to try the contests that have lots of categories because you have a better chance of winning. And if you saw those criteria, one of the criteria for the ALLI judging, they don't want to recommend contests that give out awards like, they call it Halloween candy. They don't think that's a good thing.
I got you.
So
I'll follow you.
But I did that, and I'm glad I did. I mean, so I didn't know enough at the time to say, okay, this is not a recommended contest. Since
I agree with you, Julie. To have your name and be recognized, that's number one. So you want to start from there, and so Julie, I've heard Mike say that before too. But every time you get an award, that's another promotion. And so, you're looking for things to do to promote your book. So why not that you want an award? And you don't have to just win one. Now, you can go totally crazy and spend a lot of money on awards. But if you look at them, look at the right ones, the ones like Julie said, follow what Julie said. And look at the ones that are in your genre or your expertise or your niche or wherever. And then anytime you're going to be going for something else, so if you're going for one of the bigger awards, which you have to be a member of the IBPA, and I do recommend all publishers be a member. And James told me he applies for the Ben Franklin Award, which is IBPA, and and what is Jenkins Award?
IPPY, the IPPY.
IPPY, the IPPY Award. Now I know Jerry Jenkins. He's a great person, and I knew him before he started doing the IPPY Awards, or just as he was starting them. And yes, he makes a lot of money from those awards because you have to pay $100 and something for each one. And you know, if he gets enough people, but he does give back. He's very generous about what he gives back. And if you can afford to be there, he gives one of the biggest parties there is at the Book Expo America, because he will have the whole place decked out with his colors and balloons and all of that. Big award. So, you know, it's worth being celebrated. Just the feeling that you won that award. And now there's a lot of smaller awards, and Rocks and Julie mentioned a bunch of them. CJ does a lot of regional awards. She and Lydia, and Rocks does a lot. And so there's lots of things you can do. Keep doing them. If you can invest $30 or $40 here and there for an award, or if you're part of Alan's organization. Now, Alan's another one. If you win one of the awards that he gives out on the July event, he goes big time out for that. Very nice dinner, brings up the winners, has somebody doing the video of it. And it's a really first class award that he does. I've been to several of them, and he does. It's really good. So jump out there and submit your book. If you need help with it, if you're part of Rock Hill, then get with James or me. We can definitely help you with that. Inklings, get with Fern. She's very big about helping with that as well. So get with your publisher, and then or find out the information. If you're part of this group, just let us know. We'll definitely all get in there and help you with it. So look for awards. If you have any questions, come back and ask Julie. She'll be the resident expert right now on the contest. And so how many contests did you say you had entered, Julie?
Well, I entered at the beginning the two Jenkins group, which is IPPY and ELIT. And by the way, one of them cost $80 and the other $85. So they're not even $100.
Okay, that's not bad.
But let me just say, it really doesn't matter what your pocketbook is, because there's enough free contests out there that you can find some to enter. So if you don't have the money to spend, don't spend it. Just go for those free contests. On the other hand, if you have more discretionary funding like me, then you can do a little bit more. So besides the IPPY and ELIT, those results are already in. So I know I won ELIT. So now I entered some more contests, but the results aren't going to be known for months in some cases.
And you should enter some of them that give you an award for the cover as well. And I know that Alan does have one for the cover for next year. So find out which one that is, because Lydia, did you win for the cover for them one year, or was that somebody else I know? Wasn't you? Okay. So I know there is one for the cover though.
Sandy.
James.
Sandy. Yeah. When I first started Rock Hill Publishing, I put up 4 contests for each one of the categories we did. And after looking into it, because the only thing I was really giving out as an award was I was going to give out some cash, but I was also going to give out publishing contracts, right? So I was doing a short story thing, so people were sending in, I could see what their writing style was, and then I would, based on that, I would decide whether or not I want to take them in as clients, right? But after I looked into awards more deeply, because I was also, sending my own stuff out for awards, I found out that was one of the big no-nos in the award scene. That if you're giving away, if your awards are for giving away,
please check number or code and try again.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So if you're giving away a publishing contract as a prize to the award, that's a red flag for most places as far as your awards go. And so I did it for a little while, but then I stopped. And because I was looking for clients, which is why people do the awards and give away publishing contracts, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for clients, even though I wasn't going to charge anybody to to publish their book. I was looking for people to, you know, for me to publish their book. But then I found out, yeah, that's not really a good idea. And I didn't want to tarnish my name right after putting my name out there. So, and then I started getting clients anyway. And I was like, well, you know, I don't really need to do the award thing, because I start getting people who are finding me anyway, because I was on published the writers marketplace, literary marketplace, and things like that. So people started finding me, and I was like, well, I don't really need the awards to do it, but I'm thinking I might start up the awards again now, since I have more credit to my name, and maybe not make it as
I think that's a great idea. And as a matter of fact, as I was just thinking that maybe we ought to have Through the Eyes of Authors award something. So yeah, I love that idea of giving out awards, because then you get the publicity, and so does the person that wins it. So
Right.
yay.
Yeah, and you don't have to do book awards. You could do short stories awards and things
Yeah,
like
you
that.
could.
And that was part of the idea. I would publish the people who were like the top 5 or 6 in the category in an anthology.
Right.
So,
I didn't even cover short story contests. There's a lot of those too.
yeah, there's a whole lot of short stories. Believe me, I went through that way back when. There's a lot of short story contests through magazines and things like that.
Well, Julie, that was an absolutely great job. You're right, there's a lot of information out there. You did wonderful. I am so excited. And I do think we should talk about getting together and having some kind of award program. So let's think about that. And Julie, I'd love to talk to you about that. You'd be a great person to head it up, since you've done all this research. But that's great. So does anybody else have any other questions or any comments for Tarina? Yes.
I just have a comment, not necessarily a question, but I really think that when a person like myself, who's kind of new to publishing and marketing my work, I think it's good to have a strategy that incorporates entering contests and making sure that that calendar factors that timing in to when to have the well, in my case, short stories available for submission, and planning that all out and timing it with the publication of the book as well. So Julie, I really appreciate you in your presentation to expound on that. So thank you.
You're welcome. And let me mention one thing that I forgot to mention is that for all of these contests, if there is a fee, you get to enter one category for that fee. And if you want to enter a second category, there's an additional fee. So in my case, for example, if I wanted to enter nonfiction, which is what my book is, but also if they have a subcategory of travel, then I'm paying 2 fees for those 2 categories. And they all do this, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, they do. As far as I know, they all do. So that's great. Thank you very much, Julie. That was great information. Anybody else have a question or a comment? So Haley, that's one thing. Let's look at you. Let's look at some awards that'd be great for you. Who else do we want to be looking? Let's all of us be looking. If you find an award you think will be good for somebody else in the group, make sure you tell them. Also, Haley, I want you to think and look for in Florida, because CJ and Lydia, I want to also, so this is an announcement for them and to Haley, that they are the featured speakers for this North Texas Book Festival that's coming up. And it will be a virtual event this year, right? So, so let's look for some virtual events in Florida, Haley, that would be good for you to speak at. Some that are young adult, a new adult, something like that. Some that are featuring fantasy. So think about what topic you would speak on, and you'd be thinking of that. And I'll put some names together for you, and we'll look at that. Because speaking is one of the best ways and when you speak, the advantage, and I've said this before, but the advantage is you're selling the book yourself, so you don't have to pay a fee to the bookstore or to anybody. You order the books, or you get the books from James, and whatever you get the books for, you sell them for how much more than that? It's all yours. So, so be thinking about what topic you'd want to speak on. And then we need to be looking specifically, James, at other virtual events for you guys. David is in Ohio. We look for more from him, for ideas for him. So all of you. And one of the things that I want, we'll be sharing this in the near future, but we have a client that wants us to do, he wants to do a summit. And his book is a nonfiction, but it's very specific about mindset, energy, quantum, all of that. So that will be the topic of the summit for him. But I want to look at other possible summits. And if you don't know anything about summits, we'll talk about that on Friday, because on Friday we will be talking about contests and other ways that you can get the word out about your book. So we're focusing kind of on marketing and different variations of what you can do to market your book and get the word out about your book. So be here on Friday, 11:30. Hopefully Amy will not be here with us. And maybe you'll be coming home by Friday, hopefully, Amy. So anyway, I know she's really, really ready to get this part of the journey over with and start being a mother to Sky. So anyway, Amy, we're praying for you, thinking about you. And for those of you that weren't on at the beginning, Amy will, if she doesn't have the baby by Friday, I didn't know if you were still with us or not. If she doesn't have the baby by Friday naturally, then they will, I mean, on their own, they will then be, and she'll still have it naturally, but they'll be inducing on Friday. But she was having some pains this morning, so someday soon, Amy will be the mother of 2 little girls. So we're thinking about you. So
And Amy, we think you should name the baby Stormy Skies.
she's getting lots of suggestions about the names of this one. For those of you that are not in Texas, we have 2 hurricanes hitting us this week. The first time in over 100 years that 2 hurricanes have been in the Gulf at the same time. So we get to reap the benefits of that this weekend or sometime this week. So anyway, anybody else have anything you want to say to be complete?
I do. I was very nervous and about the challenge you posed to me, Sandy, but I did my very first Facebook Live.
Yay!
Hey.
How'd it go?
Well, it's the orientation is off, so but the message was good.
So are you like turned on your side kind of?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll talk about that, because if you take, and you're on your phone now, right? And do you have it vertically or do you have it horizontally?
Horizontal.
Okay. I think you have to have it vertically for you to be face up like that. So those of you that do stuff on your phone, Amy check with Amy, because I think she's the expert at using your phone. I'm just so used to using my my laptop that I don't have to worry about that. So Amy, is that how she's holding the phone to record it? Is that what causes that?
Yeah, I think so. So versus.
Yeah, it only records one way, that's vertical.
Yeah.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Live.
Yeah. I was waiting. Meadow was crying.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it's only going to record it that way on your phone.
I now know that.
But you know what? You're not the first person to do that for sure. So that's the good thing about anything you do on video or live is whatever, if you make a mistake, if something comes out wrong, you're not the first one, I can promise you. So we are Lydia said we're proud of you, Tarina. So we are definitely proud of you. David posted, so be sure and save this chat, because David posted where you can find some more awards. That's Publishers Archive, and that's where he found James and Rock Hill Publishing. So, so lots of good stuff. Okay. And Haley, I do see your message, so I'll get back with you on that. So you guys go, have a great week, and I'll see you on Friday.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.